welcome back to Murder Therapy with Doll Talk and Cousin Ashley.
Hello.
Yes, if you notice, she's wearing, well, if you're watching on YouTube, she's wearing the headphones that she hates.
My antennas. Or what do we call it? A space station?
I don't remember.
I'm so sorry, you guys.
You'll have to ignore her. She's getting over being sick.
Severe
She's just
bronchitis.
getting over
Everything.
a shit ton of madness. She was just talking to. I'm not even going to get into everything that she just said.
We'll
But
just
long
say that
story
devices
short
don't
was,
like me.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but she needs to cleanse. And she's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
probably should call my mom to do it. I'm like, you don't have to have Aunt Sue do it. You
I
are
know.
perfectly capable of doing it on your own.
She does it the best.
One does not cleanse better than another. Like, I'm just.
I mean, and I'm so sorry you guys got to listen to me hack, but it's the only way you guys are going to get an episode, so I'm so sorry. Or
Yes.
you won't have an episode for like not 6 weeks. I've already been sick for 3, so 3 more weeks, and I
Yeah.
won't do that to you. So bear with me.
Yeah. Well, we took, time off because of the holidays. We were both busy with our families for Christmas.
So
Then
busy.
we had New Year's shenanigans. And honestly, it kind of worked out because the sickness hit my house. It hit Ashley's house.
It's so bad.
Colin had flu type A. Cora got the stomach virus, who then shared it with Nathan. And Nathan loves me so much that he thought I needed it too.
Aw,
And
so sweet
yes.
of him.
Oh, it was awful. But Carson remained immortal. Like he didn't get any, knock on wood, of the sickness at
It's
all.
because he's the shit.
Maybe. He's looking at me through the kitchen doorway
I love
now,
him so much. I love them all, but
I know,
Carson
he's-
is something else.
Oh, he's a spitfire completely. But I did want to bring up during our little break, a lot of things happened in the true crime realm. Did you see what had happened in New Orleans?
Oh my
during
God.
Yes,
Yeah.
the truck that drove into the crowd of people. That's
Yeah.
awful.
I know.
Yeah, and
Thoughts go out to all their
then
families. That's terrible.
it is. It's really sad.
They're just out there having a good time. And they got to worry about that. It's terrible.
Well, what really broke my heart about that whole thing is there was one. I mean, these were kids. I mean, I get it. Some of them legally an adult, but they're 18 years old,
Babies.
And one of the 18-year-old girls, she wanted to go out, and her mother told her no, and she had snuck out, and she ended up being killed by that guy.
Oh, no.
I know. So I can't imagine. I mean, one, a parent should never have to bury their child, period. But I can't imagine being angry because your child, broke. I shouldn't say broke a rule, but they disobeyed what you said.
Yeah.
And then you're grieving at the same time.
Yeah, that's
That would be
terrible.
hard.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then the Menendez brothers, they have a hearing coming up this month.
I'm so
This month.
stoked.
So
So
I'm
stoked.
hoping that we're going to put this to the rest. Did you see my present from my best friend Mary?
No. Let me see. Oh, yes, I
She
did.
got, well, the Menendez brothers t-shirt.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Oh,
freaking
it made
loved
my
it.
day.
Loved it.
It made my day.
Yeah, she saw
Yeah.
you coming with that gift. That was awesome.
Oh, yes. I wasn't expecting that at all. And then, of course, she got me the keychain that said, working with me every day is your gift. But
Yeah. I was going to say,
yeah.
it's in the murder realm. Ryan and I, and this can open a discussion in this episode in the comments. Something else that happened, I don't know where it was. Ryan didn't give me a lot of detail. We got into a heated argument, or a heated discussion, I should say. I guess there was an inmate who had long-term had problems with this CO, which we know they abuse their power and stuff like that. And he's reported him 100 times, and I guess the straw that broke the camel's back, he said something about his grandfather that had just passed away, and it was like, F your dead grandfather, and the inmate killed the CO. And
Oh, where was this?
I can't. Oh God, Ryan. We did not get into that because it was one of those like whose side do you stand on type of thing. And
Right.
yeah, like, do you have sympathy for the CO? Do you have sympathy for the prisoners? So I want to know. I want to know where people stand on it.
Well, I know where I stand. Obviously, I've talked about that before. We have to go in there with the mindset of we can't judge them for their behaviors, and that can be really, really hard.
Yeah.
And they're placed in my care. They're
Mm-hmm.
my responsibility. I don't have to like them on a personal level, right? But I do have to respect them.
Facts. Yeah.
You get what you give. And obviously, if there's an ongoing tension between me and my client, and maybe I'm triggering to them, that could be many different things. I could resemble somebody maybe in their past that they have a lot of, hatred towards, or maybe there's something about me that reminds them of their mother who. So I'm just kind of giving some scenarios.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I go in that room and I know I'm going to trigger, like you, Ash, for example, I need to distance myself and ask one of my teammates to step in.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. So,
I think the CO liked to pick on him and bully him, and it was just that abuse of power that he got off on. So, I mean, that's not okay. Like abusing your
no,
power and enjoying
absolutely
it.
not.
But I told Ryan that I stand more on like the straw that broke the camel's back was I think his grandfather had just passed away, and he was upset that he was in there and couldn't be there for his family.
Right.
And I mean, that's already a sore subject. But I told Ryan, I said, I don't really sympathize with him because he's in there for his own actions. Not all the time. Some people are innocent that are in there. I understand that. But most times that's not the case. And he's in there for his own behavior. And if you would have done what you were supposed to, you wouldn't be in there. You could be there with your family. However, the abuse of power is disgusting. And the fact that he
Absolutely.
turned
I
him
agree
in
with
multiple
that.
times and nothing was done and they continued to let him bully him, do I think it should have led to him losing his life? No, but what was going to be done? So it's all rock and a hard
Right.
place. It's really hard. So we got into like a heated discussion, and we just, and obviously we didn't see eye to eye on it. So I'm curious what everybody else thinks because it is,
Yeah, no.
yeah.
It's a sensitive topic and we won't judge. Everyone's entitled
Mm-mm.
to their opinion.
No, absolutely
I
not.
know where I stand. You know where you stand. I do know that, and I deal with the legal system all the time, that unfortunately there are circumstances where a power is abused.
Yeah,
I see it. Of course, I can't tell them that. I have to just kind of do what I'm capable of doing, but I've seen many circumstances that I'm like, this isn't right. I
yeah.
get that this person has a history, but really, are we really, you know what I mean?
There's no wrong
So,
answer, you guys, because honestly, both
right,
sides were
there is no
wrong.
wrong answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You're not wrong to feel the way that you feel.
yeah. So,
So,
throw it down there.
yes. So, and then one more true crime thing, and then we're going to get into today's case. Okay. I don't know how many you all, we need to talk about this.
We need to. I don't know what it is, but we need to.
Yes. So, okay, the curious case of Natalia Grace.
Ugh.
I love the look. Yes, okay.
Dude,
I'm
she's
not the,
coming to surface again, you guys. I did see that.
okay, well, I
Yeah.
started watching a little bit of it, and I'm
Mm-mm.
a person can only have so much shitty luck. Like,
Is there something new
I mean,
out?
yes, a new series has come out.
I saw it. I didn't
It's
know it was
on
already
Max
out.
right now.
Ugh, I'm
Yes,
gonna have to watch it. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's a cluster. So if you want to be dropping some comments, I want to know what y'all's thoughts on this whole Natalia Grace thing is, because if you're watching us, there's a good chance that you've watched the Natalia Grace story. And it's just a fucking cluster. And I just need to know. I'm not
What?
even going to say anything else, but I've
Oh.
started watching and I'm like, what? Like,
I cannot wait.
What?
Dude, it threw me through a
You didn't
loop.
know?
I knew there was something new coming out. I didn't know it was already out.
Yeah. It
Mm,
well, it premiered, I guess, last night. So we're recording this on January the 7th. Okay. So it's on Max right now. And I think it's going to be like a series, like the other two seasons were.
okay.
So right now they have two episodes.
Interesting.
So
I'm
I
going to watch it.
started, but it's just really bizarre, and I would love to dive more into that. We could eventually cover that whole case. Obviously, there's not murder
Oof.
involved in that, but
It's
it's a
crime,
huge,
kind of.
it's crime. Well, it 100% is crime, but it's like it's a story of who is this person? Like, we
How
don't
old
know.
is she?
How old is she?
Are her.
Is she trying to kill everybody that she lives with?
Yeah.
Is she in a cult now? Like, there's a lot of, like, yes.
Oh my
So,
god.
yes. So, please watch that, okay? For me. I just need to know how y'all are feeling about it.
I'm
But
on
that's
it.
not who we're here to talk about today. So,
Ooh.
when me and Ash had wrapped up the West Memphis 3, you all have had time to decompress from that. That's a really, really deep, it really pulls your heartstrings case because again, I'll repeat it. There was 6 victims. 3 were murdered, but 3 boys were wrongfully convicted for something they had nothing to do with. And hopefully one day they'll, finally get their name off of all of that and be able
I hope
just
so.
to,
It was
I
terrible.
hope so. Yeah, it is. It's just terrible. So when we were talking, Ash loves love triangles. She
I do.
thinks that they're fantastic. They're her favorites.
We discussed that when we got off, and I was like, she's like, what do you want to
Yes.
do next? And I'm like, man, we did 2 love triangles, and they throw me through a loop. I love them.
Yes. Well, this one might not necessarily throw you in so much of a loop. I'll go ahead and give you that. But it's bonkers. And it is a love triangle
Oh
to a degree.
yes.
So I was looking, I had never heard of this. Apparently there are some documentaries about this. There is a book that is wrote about this. I have not watched the documentaries nor read the book. I've pieced together what I was able to pull because when I saw this, I was like, "What?
Mm.
What is this?" And then I was like, "Oh yes, gold mine."
All
So we're
right.
traveling to the United Kingdom today.
Yes.
Yes, we're going international. Now, as you all know, so this is referred to as the parachute murders. And when I do my research, I like to get a background about people. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to pull a whole lot of background, but this is what we do have. So our main person of interest is Emile Cillers. Cillers, I'm assuming is how you say it. Cillers. What?
Okay, when you sent this to us, and I sent it to Ryan to make the filter,
Oh
he
God.
goes, I hear him in his office, and he goes, oh. And I was like, what? He goes, he thought it was Emily, and he said, Emily is a guy. And I was like,
It's
oh, it's a meal.
it's pronounced Emile. Okay,
Okay.
so Emile.
I'm
Yeah.
going to tell him he's wrong.
Um. Yes.
I love
So
to.
he was wrong. He was wrong. Sorry, Ryan. But we'll call him Emily if it makes you feel better. It's fine because he's quite a prick. But anywho, he grew up in South Africa with his parents. He had a younger brother and sister, and that's legit all I know about his childhood. That's
South
it.
Africa,
Yes. Now,
yeah.
apparently his father did have a construction company that he kind of worked his way up in. Um, he took on the position of a foreman in the
Oh, okay.
construction company. He then ended up moving to the United Kingdom in the year 2000. Um, where he also left his 2 younger children behind and the mother of his children with them. So he just decided, yeah, he just up and left to go to the United Kingdom. So he stranded this woman with 2 kids, okay? So
So he's a
at
deadbeat.
this point, yes, he worked in lots of pubs in the United Kingdom. That's a big common thing there, and on farms. And then he kind of decided he wanted to go into the army. He wanted to serve, for
Okay.
military. Yeah, which is awesome. So he did that. While he was going through his military background, this is where he meets Carly. And he ends up getting married to Carly, and he has two children with Carly. Okay. Mind you,
Okay.
he already has two children that he left in South Africa, in case you forgot. So he had became an instructor in the Royal Army Physical Training Corps. I don't know what all that entails. I'm assuming that's very similar to United States military. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's a pretty big deal. Um, Apparently he got hurt in a skiing accident. I read different things. So I don't know if he was actually hurt while like doing training at military base, whatever you want to call it, or if I read something that he was skiing. But whatever it is that he was doing, he had injured his knee. So he needed like physical therapy on his knee. Okay. So he ends up going, and this is where he meets Victoria. Um, and she was a physiotherapist. So good for her. She had a badass job, and she was the one that actually treated Emile. Um,
A
Obviously,
physiotherapist?
yes,
So what? I'm trying to think.
like physical therapy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So they hit it off. Mind you, he's still married. A
Oh my
parent of four
God.
children.
Yeah.
Two of them he has nothing to deal with. Um, but yeah, they hit it off. Now, even though he was still married, he starts dating Victoria while he was still married to Carly.
Ew.
Yes. Yeah, you can already see where this is going. So
Emily, come on.
yeah, Emily, I love it. It wasn't very soon, after that he ended up proposing divorce. He divorced Carly, and then him and Victoria ended up getting married. Okay. But apparently, the way I understand it, when he moved in with Victoria, Carly didn't live very far from the same residence.
Okay.
This is in Wiltshire, United Kingdom, by the way. I forgot to mention that. So we're in Wiltshire, wherever that's. I'm not familiar with the United Kingdom. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's where we're at. Okay. So apparently, Emile had saved up enough money to pay for him and Victoria's wedding by packing parachutes. He was an experienced skydiver, and that's something that him and Victoria had in common. She too was an experienced skydiver, so I'm assuming they probably went on many dates beforehand, and they did this together. Which, I mean, more power to you. I have no desire to jump out of a plane. No, thank you. That doesn't sound like a good time to me.
No. No. Free
But
falling is not my thing.
they, yeah, they were really happy though. Like he dressed really nice. He was a very big like romantic in a sense. Like he would take her to dinners. I mean, everything was
Mm.
grand. Mm-hmm. Um,
Still a piece of shit.
they both loved sports. Yes, he was. And he ended up having two children with Victoria.
Oh,
So
for
this guy's got six kids. Yes. Yes. He traveled abroad. His job required that he traveled abroad. He drove a really nice car. Um, by all appearances, they literally had the picture perfect life. So people thought.
mm,
Yeah. Yes.
to be a
So
fly in the wall.
Emile, who Victoria described as a passionate, intense alpha male soldier, definitely lived a double life. Okay. He lived well beyond his salary within the army. Um, and he was about 22,000 euros in debt.
Not
That's a lot of
child
money.
support. That's just normal
No, not
debt.
child support. This is just like people should never go in over their head, right? So we may like want a Cadillac Escalade, right? And
Mm.
completely all decked out. Who wouldn't? but it's not a good idea to go get that if you can't afford it, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
so he was way in over his head, and I don't know if maybe that was because his appearance to the outer world mattered. I feel like he felt like he was holier than thou, therefore he needed the nicest and the most luxurious things that he possibly could have, but
Yeah.
he couldn't afford it. Um, he was constantly moving money around from accounts, like all the time, which was obviously a huge red flag. And Victoria thought that that was a little weird. Um, he owed many um, payday lenders as well as people lots of money. So he was like very much in over his head,
Mm.
borrowing way more than what he could pay back.
Listen, I'll be an
Um,
open book. When I was younger, those payday loans, not like if we have any younger listeners, like, I mean,
they're
they
not
don't even
good.
have to be young. Don't do it. Don't.
No, because they sneak in thousands of more dollars
And
in
interest.
interest. Yes, whereas
You'll
if you just
never
go to your
get done paying it
bank,
back, ever.
no, it's awful. It's so not worth it. I don't think
Mm-mm.
that they do the payday loans anymore. I think a lot of states have outlawed
Ohio
those.
has, where you can like actually physically go in. They're illegal here, but they offer them online all over the place.
Do you all still offer the car title loans? Because we don't
Yes.
in Virginia. They outlawed those because
Nope.
that too is it's same concept as
And then your car's on the line.
the payday loans. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
he owed lots of money to all these different like payday loan corporations. He had borrowed from work colleagues. He had borrowed just out the
Oh
wazoo.
shit, that's
And he
terrible.
even borrowed $19,000 from his wife. Yeah. Um,
Victoria?
he then, yes, from Victoria.
Mm.
Yeah, that's who he's legally married to at this
Okay.
time. Now, he ended up actually taking $6,000 from her account without even asking her. He just took it, I'm assuming, out of her savings, um, claiming that her account had been hacked. So Victoria contacted the bank because she's like, that's a lot of money, Ash. That's
Yeah.
actually
Oh yeah.
6,000 euros. So I don't know what that converts to, um, United States, currency wise, but that's still a lot.
Yeah.
So she ends up contacting her bank and she's like, my husband has said that our account has been hacked. We need to dispute this, yada, yada, yada. So they end up doing their research because that's what they do. And they discovered that the IP address that had been used to make the transaction was her home.
Oh, these yeah. Me personally working at a bank, we will figure it out.
Well, that was Victoria's first red flag. And how she reacted to that was she decided to remove her husband, Emile, off of her will.
Good for her.
Yes.
Wait, from the will?
Um, yes, she took him off of her will.
Holy shit, that's serious.
Yeah,
That is serious.
that was a big red flag. But
I
again,
thought you were
she
gonna say
loved
the
him.
bank account.
No,
Oh,
no, he still had access to the bank account,
wow.
I believe. I didn't see anything where she took him off of that, but she did take him out of her will, and this was in 2014 when this happened.
Okay.
Okay, so obviously with him being in the military, he worked abroad very frequently. We know that he was having to travel all the time. And while he was working abroad, she was pregnant with their second child. Okay, very uberly pregnant. She's raising this toddler. He's working abroad. A bailiff from a payday loan company showed up looking for
Mm-hmm.
him because he owed money. And this startled her. She's pregnant. She doesn't need this type of stress. She has no idea. She had no idea that he was doing all of this. She knew that he had
Mm.
took the $6,000, but she didn't know the extremities of
Oh
how
my god, this poor
far in
lady.
debt that he was. Yeah. So she sends him a text because she's like, this just happened. I don't understand. Can we talk about it? And he replied, why are you worried? They can't do anything. He's such a douche. Yes, I love the look on your face. Yeah.
They can't do
He
anything.
he then ended up transferring more money from her account because so there we go. So she didn't take him off the account.
Oh
From
my God.
Victoria's savings account for his own without her knowledge. What all
Listen,
he well, we're going to talk about where all this money was going.
Victoria,
Don't
why?
worry. Yeah. So, obviously, red flags are coming up.
Yeah.
Victoria's getting concerned. He's not acting like this man that she fell in love with because apparently he was like a super romantic. So she gets this idea that he may be having an affair, that he, you know, things were not adding up. She ended up finding receipts for dinners that definitely was for two people that she wasn't present for. You know, there's things that's just not adding up.
Yeah.
Um well, in the meantime, he had actually continued his sexual relationship with his ex-wife who's right up the road. Who has
Wow.
to know that he's currently married to Victoria. So mind you, he cheated on Carly with Victoria.
Yeah.
Now he's cheating on Victoria with Carly.
I.
You wanted a love triangle.
What?
Yes, he used a casual sex site called Fab Swingers, and he would find like adult sex workers. So he was hiring prostitutes, having unprotected sex with these prostitutes.
Oh, these ladies are
Um,
fucked.
yes,
Uh,
he then proceeded to have an affair with an Austrian skydiving instructor, Stephanie Galler.
mm.
I know he's very full of himself, isn't he?
Jesus Christ. I
Um,
mean,
he met her on Tinder.
he's not terrible
He's
looking.
no, no, he's not even good looking. Like Victoria could
He's
have done
not.
so much.
He's not like, oh my God, I can't
He
resist
looks like a
him.
douchebag.
He does look like a douche. Like he's
And
arrogant.
he lives by that. Yes, well, is he ever. So he ends up getting
Sorry.
involved with Stephanie Galler, who is the skydiving instructor. He met her on Tinder when he was on an army skiing trip. So he's looking on Tinder, because the guy, it's very evident he has issues, okay? He has to have female attention in case
Jesus,
you
these
haven't
girls don't
gathered.
see this guy coming. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he ends up telling Stephanie, the skydiving instructor, a small little version of the truth of his current commitment
Oh, I'm
scenario.
sure.
Yes, he did. So he's married, but he's not married, and his wife is pregnant currently, but he knows that he's not the father.
Sir.
Yes,
Uh,
yeah.
I mean, it's one
So,
thing you abandon the what? That's a sixth baby that's in the womb. You've already abandoned 5, and now you're not even going to claim one. That's terrible.
and she's pregnant with the other one, so that's
Number
6.
6.
He's got
Yeah.
6 children.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
So
Terrible.
obviously he's regularly absent, just traveling abroad. He's showing all the warning signs that
Mm-hmm.
of he is not completely involved in the relationship, and he's gaslighting Victoria every time Victoria tries to talk to him about it because she's like, I don't understand what I've done. I mean, she literally
Oh,
is. I know, isn't that heartbreaking?
yeah.
And the fucked up part is he probably told Victoria that he was separated from Carly before. You know what I mean? Like
It creates
he
such
told.
a complex with these females, and he did, like, oh my God, it's disgusting. It's not you, Victoria. He's a
Yeah,
douche.
it's not Victoria, absolutely. So he was constantly on his phone, and if his phone would go off, he would immediately go to another room. And if she would try to get
Mm.
near him, he would get angry about it. Yeah, I mean, he's totally, yeah, showing all the things. She ended up finding condoms in the car and the house, even though he wasn't really using them
He's
too
gotta
much.
be at the ready.
Um, yeah. Um, she just didn't understand what she done wrong. Like she would literally was questioning her sanity, as
Poor
what
baby.
most people that gaslight people do. They make you question what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
That's what they do. He's a narcissist, 100%. So yeah,
And let's
Um,
be honest, they're good at twisting things around and that's why Victoria is saying, what is she doing wrong?
right. They
That's
reflect it onto
that's
to
gaslighting.
them that yes,
Yeah,
that is
for sure.
gaslighting, and he gaslit the fuck out of her. Now, one of Victoria's friends ended up texting her, I'm assuming screenshots, because this bastard had the audacity to try to make sexual moves on one of Victoria's friends.
No, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Ugh.
Um Now there was one morning that Victoria woke up. At this point she had had the baby. Okay? She'd had the child that he claims is not his, right?
Baby number
And
6.
yes, baby number 6, because he has nothing to do with all his other children. He's so wonderful. Um, but she smelled like a really strong smell of like gas. And she went downstairs and she happened to notice that the gas valve was still turned on for the stove. So she ended up texting Emile, and she was like, you know, I think you left this on. Ha ha ha. Are you trying to kill me? Yes.
He did it on purpose?
Well, we'll talk about it.
Oh
With the
my
children in
god.
the house, a newborn baby. And yeah.
Just
Um,
abandon him like your other one, sir.
yep.
I mean, at that point, you're doing him a favor.
Now, mind you, she is really like she when he would be home, she just wanted her family together. She knows. I think that she was in denial. He's having all these affairs. He's doing really shady, shitty shit. But she wanted to make her marriage work. What woman wouldn't want that?
Right.
We people are really quick to say leave. Well, it's way easier said than done. You're not in that predicament. You don't know everything. You don't know how you would react if you
Mm,
were put in
I
that.
was
And
waiting for you to
I've
say
said
that.
it a million times. Yeah. Um. So Easter of 2015, Emile decides that they should go skydiving. He had bought tickets for them to go together, and she's lit up with excitement because her husband's paying attention to her. This is great. They're going to rekindle things. They're going to get that
Oh.
spark because, again, they're both experienced skydivers, right? So they're going to go do that one thing that they have in common. I want to make note that at this time, Victoria it was over 2,400 jumps under her belt. So
Wow.
that's how experienced she was.
Yeah.
She was very knowledgeable. She knew all the things that you needed to do, the safety measures. I mean, she was very much experienced
Wait,
in doing
was
that.
she experienced in the military or did she just do it on the side? I knew she was a
She
nurse.
also had military experience.
Okay.
I don't know what she did, but I don't know if she did that in the military, but I know that she enjoyed doing this as a hobby.
And he was a
More power to
paratrooper,
you.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
My opa was a
So,
paratrooper.
um, she was excited, right? So they went to, I'm probably going to butcher this, but I'm going to try. It's Nethraven Airfield on the Saturday, the day before Easter, okay? But the bad weather ended up preventing them from jumping that day, and she wanted to go ahead and go on home, but he was like, "No, let's stay. Well, I guess they'll get a room. I don't know, and we'll jump tomorrow." Like he was very insistent that they're going to jump. Okay. Um, he had ended up collecting a parachute rig um, from this kit store, and he decided to store it in the locker room near the bathroom, which was really bizarre because Victoria said that she didn't keep parachute kits that did not belong to her. Like if you rented it or whatever, she would have just returned it and then went back and like got another one. Um, but again, she's just like, okay, whatever. We'll go with it. So he said that they could save time, staying overnight, not going, back home. They can get up in the morning, do their jump, whatever. Um, So they return to the airfield on Easter Sunday. They load up. Um, she was the last one to jump off the plane this day. Okay. Now, mind you, they're 4,000 feet in the air. She went to pull, and there was something wrong. And she went for her backup because apparently parachutes do require a backup, and the backup wasn't working either. The witnesses said she
Fuck.
looked like a rag doll, like going and flipping and all over the place. And she landed on the ground 4,000 feet.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
He did it,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Well, I love it. You go, he did it, didn't he? So when they go to respond, they had a body bag. But they're determined she's dead. She survived.
Oh
She was
no.
alive. Yes. Yes. Yes.
How
She said,
excruciating. Oh my God. I cannot.
yeah, they thought she was dead.
My mind is blown.
They thought yes,
Wow.
she survived. She's still alive today. Yes.
Shit. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And she said when she jumped out, because again, that's why I wanted to reiterate, this woman has done this thousands of times. She knew something was not right. She knew. Apparently, they don't have any records of somebody's parachute malfunctioning when the backup does not work. That doesn't happen ever. So police are very much intrigued, like, what the hell happened? Somebody wanted her dead. That just, like, that doesn't happen.
And he was pretty
Ever.
adamant about, no, we'll
He
just
was
stay and
very
jump
adamant
tomorrow.
about them jumping, yes.
Yeah.
So her survival, it was described by experts as a freaking miracle.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Fuck.
she was airlifted to a hospital where she stayed for 17 days. Doctors and nurses constantly was giving her care. I'm assuming she was probably in ICU for a big part of that. She had suffered a broken spine, a smashed pelvis, fractured ribs, and internal injuries.
Oh, shit. So was she a paraplegic after this?
You know what? I'm not entirely sure. I don't think so. I think she can walk.
Wow.
I could be wrong.
Wow.
Now she has wrote a book about this. And there's documentaries about it that I really want to watch now that I've kind of read. Like, this is just the Cliff Notes version
Oh
that I'm
my God.
giving everybody. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's insane.
now Emile was with her at the hospital. He was by her bed. But while he was by her bed, he was texting his girlfriend, Stephanie, the entire time. Isn't he wonderful? And he sent a text, and I quote, "I can't imagine anything like that happening to you. All I can think about is you. Your wife, the mother of your children, is lying in a fucking hospital bed with a broken spine that you caused."
Wow.
I know,
This
he's
is
such
where
a
we get.
narcissist.
No, I was waiting for you to say he's such a Jim. That's
Oh.
Jody's thing. He's such a Jim.
He's a dick, is what he is. Like,
There's no word
he
to
doesn't even.
describe.
There's no word. Absolutely not.
What
Yeah.
a little bitch.
So,
That's.
yeah.
No. He is Emily.
Now here she's in a hospital bed. She doesn't remember landing. Thank God she doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I'm sure one of two things. Obviously she was knocked out. But two, trauma does different things to the brain, and we have a way of blocking things out. Our brain is such a cool organ. You know what I mean? Like, it's like it keeps us safe to a degree. So she doesn't remember anything. She remembers jumping. She remembers it being weird. Like, she talks a little bit about how the strings were all tangled up, and she's like, I knew something was wrong. And after that, it's like,
Oh,
gone.
fuck.
And then she's in a hospital.
I have so many questions. Like, so many questions.
She
Like, did
felt
you say she
that
was in a coma? Was she in a coma?
no.
Oh, wow. I'm
No,
amazed.
she was in the hospital for 17 days. That's it.
I mean,
Yeah.
people say that's a long
The
time, but for that kind of accident, that is insanely short. I'm
the fact that
mind
she is
boggled.
still alive is mind-boggling.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't.
I mean, it's yeah. So she assumes that the parachute failures had just was like a freak accident. Like she's just like
No.
something, I don't know what happened, whatever. Obviously there was an investigation immediately launched into what happened because when they looked at her parachute, because they're like, what happened? Experts, that are
Yeah.
do these jumps all the time, they're looking at it and they could see that some of the lines had been tangled up and they were cut. So somebody had actually physically done harm to the parachute. That didn't just happen. It wasn't a malfunction. And even if
Mm.
something did malfunction, her backup would have released.
Yeah. So somebody fucked
They
with
don't just
both of
send you
them.
with one. Yes. So, obviously, just like we always look into the spouse, the police immediately start looking into Emile. Um, and it didn't take them very long to learn that A, he was in debt up to his eyeballs. He had numerous affairs. They went through his phone and everything. They said he was constantly going on sexual explicit websites. He was a sex addict.
Hmm.
He had all these very graphic, disgusting messages with all these different women. Of course, he was having an affair with Stephanie. Like, he claimed
The
he was so in love
prostitutes.
and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Yes, the prostitutes. Um, they looked into the home computer as well. They were able to see that he was taking, remember, money out of her bank accounts.
Yep.
That's Victoria's money. They also found this on the home computer. Before the jump, he was looking for a wet nurse. Do you, so that the newborn baby could breastfeed. Why would
Mm-hmm.
you need a wet nurse if your wife is still alive, sir? Yeah. Um, they interviewed him for hours, and shockingly, he was extremely calm the entire time, and confident,
Oh, I'm
being the
sure.
arrogant douchebag that he is. Are you ready? He said, Victoria never sexually satisfied me.
So fucking leave. Why is
Right?
that
And
so
he
hard for
openly
people to
admitted,
understand? I'm not even going to say
I
men. If you're not satisfied in any realm of your relationship, leave.
leave.
Work it out or leave.
Leave. Just they'll grieve for a bit, but don't do that to them. That's emotional torture. Yeah,
I mean,
she
for
didn't
both
sexually
parties,
satisfy
like,
him.
I mean, you gotta sneak, you gotta lie. I mean, that's stressful to you, let alone the emotional damage it's causing to the other party for being cheated on. Like, there's so much less
So
drama just leaving. Oh, God.
homie couldn't get his rocks off, so you find the need to cut your
Mm-mm.
wife's parachute and kill the mother of your children because you wasn't sexually satisfied? Jack off, dickwad. Like,
He probably does that too.
he probably does. Like,
And we
so
know he does.
of course they arrested him. Can't imagine why. He did
Mm.
nothing to try to hide any of his evidence whatsoever. And he was not allowed to contact Victoria at all.
Oh, good.
Now I know what people are thinking. Well, what does Victoria have to say about this? She stood by his side. Yes. Yes. Um, he went through two trials. Two trials. The first trial, they couldn't come to a verdict. Of course, the UK does things a little bit different than the United States. So I don't, I can't really answer any questions on how
So,
that stuff
is that a
worked.
mistrial then?
Um, well, he was found guilty in the second trial of two attempts of murder. Remember the
Mm.
gas thing? He did that with anticipation of killing
How
her
did
and
anybody
the
know about
children.
that? If Victoria was standing beside him, I don't think she would have mentioned that.
Well, she did testify, and they went through their phones. She did text him that
Oh,
morning
you
asking
did.
him, but
Yeah.
she was asking in a joking manner. It would be no different if Ryan left the stove on and you texted him and was like, "Are you trying to kill me and Jay?" I mean, think about it.
Dude, he's attempted to kill you multiple times, and you're standing by his side. Oh my god, I
Oh, don't
can't.
worry, we'll get there. He
Can't.
was given
I can't.
so this was in 2018 when he went to court, and he was given a life sentence with a minimum term of 18 years for attempted murder. Now, during the trial, I want to emphasize something. He showed absolutely no remorse for anything that he did. And he suggested that perhaps a random killer, like I thought I could, a random killer must have messed with her parachute. Um,
Yeah.
he even went as far to say that Victoria had even sabotaged her own parachute because I
What a suicide attempt. Like,
right,
I want to kill myself, so I'm gonna just
yes,
jump from an airplane with no.
yeah. Now
Oh my
uh,
god.
during this whole investigation, he got to remain in like the I guess the army docks or whatever, the barricade, whatever you want to call it. You
Mm,
know what I'm talking about? Like he could because he couldn't be at home
yeah.
and he lived in Victoria's house because there's this ongoing case. And he
The
was posting
barracks.
on Facebook. Yes, the barracks. That's
Yeah.
what I was. Yeah. He continued to post on Facebook like his army expeditions and family outings, like while he's going through this. Yeah.
Jesus
Um,
Christ. What?
yeah. So the
Mm-hmm.
judge, when everything was settled, he was quoted saying to Emile, "This was wicked offending of extreme gravity. Your offending was extremely serious with your two attempts to murder your wife. They were planned and carried out in cold blood for your own selfish purposes." And that's the truth. So Victoria remained loyal to Emile, even as the evidence started to stack up against him, even after he was found guilty for her attempted murder. Um, Now, she was angry and upset with him, but she, of course, has since then
Oh.
realized the gravity of the situation. And I would imagine that that would be really shocking for your husband to not just try to kill you not once but twice and failed miserably because he sucks at everything. Thank God he wasn't successful in killing her, but he can't do anything right. Like
You suck
uh,
as a husband, you suck as a dad, you suck as a freaking
you suck at
human being.
everything.
And you can't even kill somebody successfully. I
You
mean,
can't even kill somebody successfully, Emil. You suck.
you suck all
But
around.
I stand with what I say. We could sit here and say we know how we would react,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sure she was really decompressing. That was very traumatic what she went through. Can you imagine falling 4,000 feet off the ground and living to tell the story?
I couldn't. I couldn't, but even if there was an inkling, I would be terrified of if somebody put in my ear that it was my spouse. I mean, I understand
Yeah.
you believe that he didn't do it, but as the evidence is stacking up and even after he's found guilty, no.
Well, I think this is a trauma response. Okay,
It
and
could
that's
be
what part of what.
comfort.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She was angry and upset with him, as she should be. I'd be more concerned if she wasn't.
Yeah.
But
Well,
she
yeah.
said, "I didn't know the truth from reality, and what was even false." And I believe that. I really do. I'm sure that you have to think about this. The man that you made wedding vows with, and you brought two children into this world, you're in a attempted murder trial because he tried to kill you. Of
I
course,
mean,
I'd probably be juggling that too.
accidents happen and people do die from parachute malfunctionings, but when it happened and they were like, I think it's the husband, and you're like, no, accidents happen. Like, I get it. Your head wouldn't instantly go to
Right.
he messed with it.
Well,
I
she
get it.
said everything that I thought was truth, they were starting to blow apart. So, because the police are trying to explain this to her, and
Yeah.
she would try to explain what her thought process was, and they would kind of come off passive aggressive. And I'm sure they were kind of getting pissed off, like, are you really taking up for him because he just tried to kill you?
Yeah.
Um, so there was a lot of tension there, but she said she felt like a prisoner in her own home and even in her. That's sad.
Well, yeah. That's terrible.
she she said she loved her husband. She didn't stop loving him. I yeah. Now, during the first trial, we're going to backtrack. Um, Victoria would play down the testimony that she had given earlier to the police, saying that she'd simply was like distressed by the affairs. This is why I'm like, I feel like all of that was like a trauma response.
Yeah.
And she would just kind of, well, make excuses for his behavior and still in a sense blame herself, even though he's 100% responsible, just like a narcissist. He 100% went in the very beginning. He knew what he was doing. um she said perhaps her husband took the parachute into the bathroom because he didn't notice it was around his shoulders, like she was excusing him taking it places before they jumped. Yeah. um and then she even suggested maybe I damaged her shoot.
Oh, honey.
I know. Discussing her testimony later, Victoria said, I was always very aware every answer I gave, the impact that potentially it could have on my future. I don't think I lied a lot. I think I kept a lot of secrets. I kept a lot to myself. I think that's her saying, I was in denial of the extremities.
It absolutely
You know,
is. And I mean, it's not you keeping to yourself isn't necessarily lying. You're just withholding I mean, you're just withholding the truth and honestly evidence.
well, after hearing the verdict in the second trial, Victoria gave two different interviews, okay? In one, she said he'd been unfaithful, he had issues with money, but that is not attempted murder. Yes, I'm hurt and angry, but can I see him as capable of murder? No. She went and visited him in prison, where, according to
It's
reports,
because
he played
clearly
down
he's
the
not
affairs.
capable of murder.
Yeah. Oh, but he gaslit her when she went and visited him in prison, and he's in prison because he tried to kill her, but she's still going and visiting him. And he
Oh my
said,
god.
he just kind of played down the affairs, and he tried to get back together with her. You can't make this shit up. Yeah, which she didn't comply with,
Which
thank
I'm sure
God.
he's getting millions
Um,
of letters from other women.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Um, she ended up asking for a divorce. I think finally
Good.
reality sunk in. And you all can judge her if you want to. I'm just kind of like, oh, honey, like,
We're
oh,
not victim shaming here, honestly.
yeah, we're not victim
He
shaming, but I'm just like, oh, honey,
it was the
like,
manipulating state he took her there. And there's a reason why she functions the way that her thought process is the way that it is because he's fucked her up so bad and manipulated her so bad and gaslit her so bad, and that's why that
he mind
happens.
fucked her.
Yeah, and that's why that happens. So that it's not her. And yeah, so I'm not she eventually came to she gets to be free. I hope she's living her life.
Well, she's wrote a book. The book I said in the very beginning is Victoria's book. She has been in different interviews. And there's supposed to be a series, and I can't find it, so I don't know if maybe it's just available to the United Kingdom.
Oh.
I'm not sure, but I would love to watch it. That goes more in depth about her marriage to him, and obviously she has divorced him now. I'm sure that he is trying to still. Maybe he's having affairs with other inmates. I don't know. He's a sex addict. I would imagine. Who knows? But
It's
that's our
Saturday
story of the
every
parachute
day.
murders. So no one died this time. He just tried to kill him.
Oh my gosh.
I hope you enjoyed that one.
I
Do you
did.
have questions?
Oh my, so many.
I love it. She goes, I have so many questions. Yeah, I thought you would like that one. So no one died. I thought that that would be a more light and fluffy one after what we had just,
It was a good
done.
one. It was a good one. Yeah. We gotta
Yes,
lighten
it was
things up when
different,
there's sweet little babies that have been murdered.
right?
Yeah.
I got a new phone. There we go. All right, let me turn this up. You ready?
Yes.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay. What are we asking, Ash?
Okay, first of all, I have to know, is she living her best life? Victoria.
Okay. Hey, girls. Yes.
Yeah, I
Is Victoria living her best life after her husband tried to kill her? Yes.
yay. I hope she is. Uh does she have any I want to know if she has any like long-term ailments from that fall.
Oh, I'm sure she does. Does she have any
It's kind of
long term?
medical, I get.
Well, that's okay. We'll ask. Does she have any long term, like medical and psychological
Well, I'm
issues?
sure psychological.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Does she still love Emile? No. Okay, good. I'm glad she finally let him go.
is he still talking to Carly behind bars?
Oh my God, that's such a good one. Is he
Yeah.
still talking to Carly? I don't know
I
what
thought I
they
heard
said. Is
what?
he still talking to Carly? Oh, barely.
Mm. What if
I'm not sure.
he that probably meant like maybe he's sending her letters.
He probably is.
Has he rekindled anything with any of his kids being behind bars, thinking about things?
Yeah, has he even tried to maintain a relationship with his children? No, that was really clear. No.
Jesus. Um is he I don't has he tried to you think he's attempted to kill any of his other ex-wives and they just didn't notice?
That's a good. Did he ever try to kill any of his exes in the past and they just didn't notice? Yes. Did you hear that? Yes, that was a really clear yes.
Okay.
He sucks. Yep. You hear that?
I
And they went,
I
yes.
did. I'm trying to think. Does Victoria at least I wouldn't, but does she forgive him?
Yeah. Did she forgive? Did Victoria forgive Emile? Yes.
You got to move on. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bless her heart.
Yeah. I think that's all. Hmm. Has she come to terms with has she accepted that he really did try to kill her?
Yeah. Did Victoria accept that he really did try to kill her? Yeah.
Okay. Because sometimes you just ask for a divorce because I
Yeah.
mean 18 years in prison is no.
Yes.
Is he going to serve more than 18 years?
I hope so. Is he going to serve longer than 18 years? Yes.
Oof. I wonder why.
Because he's a dick,
He's
Ash. That's why.
he's gonna
Like,
cause problems and get more time.
probably.
Yeah.
Always.
I don't think I have any more. That's
All right. Thanks, ladies.
thank you, ladies.
I love it. They're cute.
Goodness.
So, yeah, I thought you would enjoy that.
Oh, he's such a. Mm,
I know he's awful.
what a. Mm, I can't. I can't.
Yep.
He's such a piece of
Yep.
shit. He's not good at anything he
He
does,
is.
even murder.
No, literally. He can't even murder someone correctly. Like, not that
God.
there's a correct means to do that, but yeah. So,
I
all
mean,
right, Ash, what do they need to do?
they need to follow us on most social media platforms. If you like to listen, you can find us on Spotify. If you like to watch and listen, you can find us on YouTube.
Awesome. And we will see you guys next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, doll babies.